Good morning, Red Sox Nation. Today is August 18th, and this is your August 18th Sox Vlog. My name is Mark Chikaris. Sox Vlogs are brought to you by Guy Boston Sports over at GuyBostonSports.com. A little early morning Sox Vlog today, as the news dropped yesterday that Chris Sale is suffering from elbow inflammation. Dave Dombrowski's news or press conference rather, which I'll actually attach to this link. Dombrowski seemed really downtrodden. Sale needed time to collect himself, so this does not look good for Red Sox Nation. Does not bode well for the Red Sox at this time, especially since Sale is coming off two pretty good starts. Things were, stop me if you've heard this one before. Things were starting to look good. Things were starting to look promising. And then all hell broke loose. Shit hit the fan, whatever you want to call it. The same thing with the Red Sox all season. One step forward, two steps back. Chris Sale, two great starts after a really lousy season. I'll get to that in a second. But the Red Sox team doctors looked at his elbow, and now he's going to see Dr. James Andrews, who's a specialist in, elbows and orthopedics, especially for athletes. Doesn't look good for Sale. My intuition is that he's going to need Tommy John surgery, which means he'll obviously be out the rest of this year, and he will be out the rest of next year. That's not a hot take by any stretch of the imagination. I just think that that's the road we're headed, just from reading body language and analyzing what people had to say about the issue and the fact that Sale was all verklempt and stuff. So, it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to have it. I mean, David Price looked like he was going to have it last spring, and he didn't need it because he had this magic elbow. Dr. James Andrews, hopefully Chris Sale has a magic elbow, because we have him for 5 more seasons. Which brings me to my main point. Look, here's the deal. I'm going to defend Dave Dombrowski a little bit here. Okay? Chris Sale had a damn good 2018. He went 18-9. He had a 2.11 ERA. I was going to argue that Chris Sale didn't have a great postseason, but he actually didn't have a bad postseason. ERA under 3.50. Made 3 starts in last year's postseason. Didn't get very far. He only pitched 13 innings as a starter. But his numbers weren't that bad. But he only averaged 4 innings a start. But, that's the postseason. People get early hooks, and I get that. But just to put things in perspective about how 2019 has gone for Chris Sale. Sale's sitting at 6-11, and the Red Sox are 10-15 when he pitches. Rick Porcello right now is having probably one of the worst seasons of his career. He's sitting at 5.49 ERA, but the Red Sox are 15-10 when he pitches. Granted, Chris Sale has experienced just over almost 4 runs per game, and the Red Sox are averaging closer to 6, I believe it is. So he's not getting the usual run support. But here's my beef. If Chris Sale does need Tommy John surgery, I think for Dave Dombrowski it's kind of a fireable offense. I think Dombrowski's on the hot seat anyway, but to sign this man who, he had a great season last season. He only made 1 start in August last year, and I'm sure you guys remember that. That was the 12 strikeouts and 5 innings against the Orioles, and then Sale was shut down for the rest of August. I think he made 3 starts in September, which were pretty good before heading into the postseason. But just eyeball test, and I think most of you would probably agree with me, those of you wise enough to on the nuances of baseball. Chris Sale didn't look right in the 2018 postseason. He didn't look comfortable out on the mound. I think he felt like he labored. And for Dave Dombrowski to go ahead, and again, this is not a hot take. This has been running around in Red Sox circles. People I talk to, people I text with, people who are dialed into the team. It's the same thing. The fact that he gave this guy a 5-year contract without waiting to see what this year would bring is an absolute abomination, which I think is part of why Dombrowski's tone yesterday was so somber. Because essentially, if you do lose this guy, you're going to lose him for a season plus a couple, a month or so. And then who knows what he's going to be on the tail end of a Tommy John surgery. Now, some people come out of it fine. Some people don't. Some pitchers get better. But I think already you saw Chris Sale this year having to learn how to pitch a little bit differently since he wasn't throwing in the high 90s with consistency. He lost a little bit on his fastball and had to rely on his secondary pitches, which aren't as devastating if you can't establish an unhittable fastball, really. So Dombrowski signs him. Goes my cat. Dombrowski signs him to a 5-year deal, which we're stuck with now, and he might miss significant time. I think that's a fireable offense. I think we all wanted to wait. Anyone with half a brain in Red Sox Nation wanted to wait because he was going to be a free agent after the season. So imagine if Dombrowski does not sign Chris Sale to that contract, and Chris Sale needs Tommy John surgery, he's out for the year, and then you're just like, thanks, love you, appreciate what you did for us, peace, right? And you can allocate those funds toward another free agent pitcher, which gets me to my next point. Real quick, the Red Sox number one priority moving forward as a team, as an organization, as far as baseball goes, not selling Panda T-shirts, selling bricks, selling doing these gimmicky things at Fenway Park, movie nights and so forth. Baseball related, the Red Sox have to develop pitchers in their freaking minor league system. It's so old. I talked to buddy of mine, Guy Boston reporter Drew Athens about this. We've talked about it on Balls Deep Red Sox podcast. The Red Sox have not developed a stud starting pitcher since John Lester. John Lester made his major league debut in 2006, I believe. Maybe it was 2005. So, at the very least, 13 years ago, they developed a starting pitcher, and Clay Buchholz was not a stud. He was a very talented screwball. So I think that speaks to the larger concern that I have with the Boston Red Sox, because, David Price is kind of hurt with that, Fortnite thing. And, I think regardless of what the outcome is for Chris Sale's testing on his elbow, cats are going mental. Whatever Chris Sale's issue is with his elbow, whether it comes out clean, no, it's just a little bit of inflammation. Take a couple of Advils, you'll be fine. Regardless, he needs to be shut down for the rest of the season, and he needs to rest and heal. He clearly hasn't been himself this year. Red Sox are currently sitting 6.5 back in the wild card, and it's not impossible that they make the playoffs, but it's very improbable at this point. There's too many games between them. There's too many teams between them. So I think the smart thing is you've invested in this guy. The two guys that you've chosen, Dombrowski, were Xander Bogaerts, which was a wise decision, and Chris Sale, which was an unwise decision. So shut him down, get him healthy, reboot for 2020. At this point, I think the Red Sox need to change their philosophy on how they go about doing their business. Credit to Dombrowski, put together a great team in for 2018. Those guys went balls to the wall last year. I give them a lot of credit. They battled, and they beat three of the best teams in baseball in the Yankees, Astros, and Dodgers. I think it's time for a organizational, philosophical flip, and they need to start working on their farm system again. And Dave Dombrowski is not the guy to do that. So they need to look elsewhere. And I think it needs to come from outside of the organization at this point. I think they need to bring in fresh blood all over the place, especially down in the scouting and minor league system. They need to draft some pitchers because now you're looking at two broken down pitchers. Porcello won't be here next year, but he's starting to break down a little bit. A lot of innings on that arm. So that's the news with Chris Sale. Either way, hopefully he's okay. Well, yeah, hopefully he's okay. I don't want to see anyone get really hurt, but I don't think it even matters for 2019. If he's okay, still shut him down. And that's what I got on Chris Sale. Unfortunate situation for an unfortunate season, disappointing season. We're all disappointed. I get it. We all love the Red Sox, but I mean, you can't look yourself in the mirror and say that it's okay. It's not. This was a bad season, an embarrassing one in a lot of ways. And Sale being hurt that's kind of puts the exclamation point on I think what we're all feeling today. So shut him down, get him healthy. If he needs Tommy John, do it tomorrow. So we'll smell you later. We'll see you in 2021, which is really screws up your plans for 2020, because I think really next year is the last year you're going to be able to compete with this group without Chris Sale, a healthy Chris Sale. I don't know how far you get, and who knows what's up with Price, who knows what's up with Evaldi. Porcello's gone. Guys, the starting rotation next year, yikes, because ain't no one coming through the door in the farm system. So they're going to have to go out and guess what they're going to have to do. Spend like a drunken sailor on free agent pitching. And you're going to get the likes of Andrew Cashner. The Andrew Cashners of the world are going to come out of the woodwork as well. Guys like Brian freaking Johnson are going to pitch. Stephen Wright will be up and down in the IL, whatever. Bleak situation, because there is a possibility we could go into 2020 without Chris Sale or David Price. So I want to let that sink in. Dun, 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 dun. Start the funeral dirge. All right, that is your Sox vlog for August 18th, early in the AM today. It's brought to you by Guy Boston Sports, or GuyBostonSports.com. Hope everyone has a wonderful Sunday, enjoys the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next time.